Christina, welcome to the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. I'm so excited to dig into all things Spain and travel with you today. And as I was getting to know you and know a little bit of your story, you are a travel expert from Spain, but also it sounds like you are a foodie just like us, which is great. I always love chatting with a fellow foodie, but it just sounds like you've done so much great traveling and you just have so much expertise and perspective that you can share with listeners here today in Spain and beyond. So I just wanted to first welcome you. I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah, nice to meet you and have me in the podcast. So, as you say, well, I'm Cristina. I'm from Spain, specifically from Malaga, from the Costa del Sol. And I normally provide travel guides, itineraries, and tips for those travelers who want to explore Malaga and southern Spain. I'm also a big foodie. It's one of the things why I love traveling as much as I love my hometown. I also love, traveling to the places, immersing myself in the culture. And one of the things is like food,
Oh yeah.
right? It's nice to learn about the people through food.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I know that you are big on with like the work that you do and I'm sure living there and everything as well is with Malaga especially, so known for its beaches and it's very much promoted as a beach destination, but I know some things have changed. And so from your perspective, I kind of wanted to start with this like how would you describe Malaga, like, beyond the beaches and, like, for, someone like us who might be traveling to Spain and going there for that, but, like, what is there more to know about Malaga, but then also what would you say in Spain in general?
Yes, so I think when people look at traveling to Malaga, they see the city itself, but
Yeah.
it's also a province. And Malaga has so many like small villages and other coastal towns that offer other things than the city. So obviously the city is great. Something that many people don't know is that there are like over 40 museums in Malaga. So there aren't only beaches.
Never would
You
have
can
known that.
find museums, yeah, and you can find all sorts of museums. So,
Yeah.
video game museums, wine museum, and then we also have historical buildings, so cathedrals and this like castle, fortress, so there's lots to explore in Malaga,
Yeah.
and that's only like the city. If you want to kind of get to know more about the foodie side, then like each village has, a traditional ingredient or like traditional dish that you can try, and there are festivals around food as
Oh,
well. So it's much more than the beach.
yeah.
And I actually think like you'll find nicer beaches not in Malaga city
Mhm.
itself, but like the surrounding towns.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots to explore. People sometimes come to Malaga for one day on a cruise and they miss a lot of the things that we have. And some people might come for the weekend. And some of my friends from other countries, they kind of book a trip for like 2 days or three, and then they were like, oh my God, I need to come back because I
Yeah.
haven't seen half of it. I didn't think, you could find this, I don't know, nice photo spot in this coastal town, which is only like 30 minutes drive, or you can take, a bus and go to this like white painted village
Mm.
with amazing coastal and mountain views. So there's lots to do, and much more than the beach.
Right, yeah, which, we love a beach, it's great, and,
Yeah.
you can spend an afternoon there, but first of all, that's so crazy about the museums, I had no idea, but also, yeah, I can just imagine the architecture, the cathedrals, like, all of that rich history Really quick, I wanna focus on the food for a second and just
Yeah.
more specifically too, just, because 'cause I'd love to hear from you as sort of a local and expert in Southern Spain specifically. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that and just, clearly and I experienced this. I've been to Spain as well, but only to Sevilla and Barcelona and Madrid, and it was like a week, and it was too fast, of course, and I need to go back, but Southern Spain has been on my list for the longest time, and so just talk to us a little bit about how food is such an important aspect of, Spanish culture in general, but then maybe specifically what you see in Southern Spain.
Yeah, so I think like all the cultures, that they eat on the go. And in Spain, there's nothing about eating on the go.
Yeah.
Like, you go to a tapas bar or you go to a restaurant, I don't know, with friends, with your partner, with family, and you can spend there like hours.
Yeah.
So don't expect to eat in 20 minutes
Right.
because you'll only have maybe like a drink and a small tapa.
Yeah.
So like food is such an important aspect in Spain. It's like you sit on the table, you have food, and at the same time you have a conversation.
Yeah.
All sorts of conversations come up on the table. It could be food, it could be politics. I'm not into politics, but everyone is different, and
Yeah.
and I think like there's lots of topics that come out in when you are with family and with friends and I don't know. I think like Spanish people overall are quite like open to talk a lot about different topics. Um, so and also it's like you might go for tapas to a tapa bar, but then maybe you have two tapas there, and then you move to another bar and you have more. So you do
Yeah.
like a little bit of a tapa crawl, right?
I love
Um,
that.
so and it's nice because at the same time, if you go for tapas, and if someone doesn't know what tapa is, it's a small kind of dish,
So
and
good.
it could be anything. It could be like a chickpea stew in a little dish. It could be tortillas or the Spanish potato omelette, just like a slice of it. There's lots of different tapas, and the good thing is like you can order a few. And then you can try so many different things. It's like you don't have to stick to okay. I'm gonna order I don't know roast chicken and chips, right? As an example, there's such a variety
Yeah.
and also you might try a dish, so let's say the Russian salad, which is very typical in Spain. I know that the name doesn't sound Spanish at all,
Yeah.
but like uh, Russian salad, so in Spanish ensaladilla rusa,
Okay.
is such a typical tapa in Malaga. And depending on where you go, it will kind of taste slightly different because some of them might add peas into it, some of them might add carrot, or they're like, I don't know. So there's also different varieties, and obviously you'll be able to pick which one you like the best.
Oh,
But
delicious.
you know it's great that you can try different foods, and at the same time I feel like it's quite affordable. Obviously at the same time you need to know where to go because
Yeah.
some places like if you eat in the port, obviously those prices are gonna be higher than eating I don't know somewhere a bit hidden in the old town.
Yeah.
So you also kind of need to know where to eat at the same time, but I feel like you can have like some nice tapas for a very reasonable price, or what we call the menú del día. So that's like a set menu, and normally with that you end up full by the end of it because it's like you got a starter, then a main course, and then a dessert, and includes a drink and bread.
Yeah.
So it's like all sorted, and maybe it's like I don't know, let's say 12 euros, 15 euros, but then you end up quite full and like a really nice meal.
Good.
So it's all these little things about food and the culture, and at the same time it's like related to wine. Obviously if you talk about wine in Spain, the first place that you think about is La Rioja.
Yes.
um right,
Yeah.
so but actually there's lots of different wines in Malaga as well.
Mhm.
um So towns like Ronda, there's a lot of like wineries, and there are different types of wines produced in there. And if you go to the Azarquia region within the Malaga province, again, it's well known for raisins and wine as well, like the sweet wine. In
Okay.
Malaga, we have this sweet wine that is normally you'll have it as a dessert, so it's a
Right.
dessert wine. Yeah, so there's lots of things that involves food. So obviously, if anyone is a foodie, I'm pretty sure that you love eating in Malaga or like southern Spain in general. um there are a lot of typical dishes and things that you can try, wine and all sorts, desserts for those who have a sweet tooth as well.
Which I do,
So
yes.
yeah,
Oh,
and now it's like with the sorry.
no, no,
So
go ahead.
now, like with the Easter, right? We got the torrijas, which are the Spanish French toast. So now, is if you go to
So
southern
so
Spain,
good.
it's like quite typical to have torrijas. It's really nice. You can actually like find them like in bakeries. I prefer to do them at home, but you can find them in bakeries if you want to try the torrija. Although it's a thing that you can try all year round. Like some restaurants have put it as a dessert, so you'll find them as well there. But it's originally kind of typical from this kind of upcoming time, Easter. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's lunchtime where I am right now, and I am, like, getting hungry thinking about this. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering, and tapas truly are some of my favorite and John as well, who is the co-host of this podcast, who's not here right now, but I mean, we love tapas so much, and everything you just hit on and mentioning that, like, that's what we love about it, is that you can try multiple different things and get just little aspects and perspectives of each thing, but you leave feeling full, and it's not terribly expensive, but that is a good thing to remember, and I'm sure a lot of people here listening know this, but, like, if you are in the more touristy areas, like, it is probably gonna be more expensive or they're going to hike up the price a little bit. So, okay, I have a couple of follow-up questions for you. Number 1, with
Yeah.
that in mind, from your, like, expertise, what would you recommend in terms of where people should go or what they should try, specifically in Malaga if you want to focus there, but in getting out of the more touristy areas, are there certain areas that you would recommend going to, or just what would your tip for people listening here be with that to kinda get away from the tourist
Yeah.
areas? Yeah.
So I would generally avoid eating, for example, in the port,
Yeah.
because you're not gonna find like a really authentic place in the port,
Mhm.
and at the same time the prices are high. So you can find little like tapas bars within the old town, although the old town is always busy and the it's grown so much.
Yeah.
Like in the last couple of years, it's like this kind of boom. you
Yeah.
know everyone comes to Malaga. So
Yeah.
at the same time, it's inevitable that it's kind of a bit touristy. So if you
Mhm.
want to eat more authentic, you kind of need to go out of the center. But I understand, like, sometimes going to these more authentic places, of places where the locals go, aren't always accessible, in the sense that maybe they don't know as much English.
Yeah.
The menus are not translated, so that might kind of put off some travelers because they
Mhm.
want to know exactly what they're eating, right?
Yeah.
But if we focus in the center, you can still find some places, but you'll find crowds all the time.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, for example, the Atarazanas market is a good place where you can try tapas. Again, it's very busy, but you get like good
There's
tapas
the
in there.
authentic. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where like lots of like restaurants around the area
Mm.
get their ingredients
Oh,
from that
okay.
market. Yeah, so it's a good. And then at the same time, you go the neighborhood of Soho, which is like is next to the old town, and it's like focus more like on the artistic side.
Mhm.
But in there are also like couple of places, where you can enjoy nice tapas. So, for example, I like this tapas bar called La Pecha,
Mhm.
and it's quite now it's become popular, like every single place, right? But I really like the tapas there. It used to be like a very small tavern, and now they've expanded.
Okay.
Um, so other places, if in the summer you could go to the neighborhood of Pedregalejo, which is like a fishing kind of, well, it used to be like a fishing village, but it's a neighborhood now, and in there you'll go normally for the sardine skewers. So like a barbecue sardine skewers that are
Yeah.
typical from Malaga, the fried fish.
Mhm.
That's like the neighborhood to go for, the summer season when you get like all this nice fish and seafood if you like those.
Yum.
And then you can find like maybe, yeah, like more local authentic places if you go to the villages, but again you're gonna have, there's gonna be a little bit of a language barrier sometimes, but
Mhm.
if anyone is fine with that, it's you'll find more kind of um dishes that at the same time families
Yeah.
cook, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't, there's this concept that we always have paella,
Yeah.
it's not like that. Paella is from Valencia. Obviously it's a very well-known dish, and in Malaga we sometimes have paella, but it's not a thing that we have it every day or every week.
Right.
So I would say kind of those sort of tips, but like I said, is Malaga is becoming more and more popular. It's
Yeah.
harder to find those places that aren't crowded.
Mhm.
Obviously, it helps if you go during the off season, um,
Mhm.
because there are less travelers at that time.
Right.
The only thing, obviously, is the weather
Yeah.
that lately it's been a bit of unstable weather. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but
Yeah.
if you take your chances, then but maybe
Yeah.
it's a nice weather when you go to Malaga in winter. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would say kind of those type of tips for like avoiding like overpriced places.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this leads me to my and you've already given a couple examples of this, but is there anything else that other dishes or recipes that are from Malaga specifically or just southern Spain that if someone is here listening that you are like, you absolutely have to order this or you should definitely try this if you're visiting southern Spain?
Yeah. So specifically Malaga, one of the things is espetos, which is the sardine skewers,
Right.
like a barbecue sardine skewers. Um, and you can find them in most like beach restaurants.
Okay.
And the best times to have it obviously is like during like the summer months.
Mhm.
And then another kind of dish is the ajo blanco. So this is a cold soup,
Okay.
but it's made out of like water, almond, and garlic, and then it's topped with the grape. Well, normally it's topped with grape.
Okay.
It sounds a bit strange, but it's nice, and it's like it's refreshing as well,
Probably good for hot
especially in this.
days or during the summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like a summer dish. Then another one is just like the fried fish, right?
Yeah.
Because Malaga is what we call the coast,
Yeah.
so fried fish is such a big thing. So anything like seafood, like anchovies, like in vinegar and olive oil,
Yeah. Yeah.
are really nice. Yeah, and then I'm trying to think like more and
No,
more
that's great.
dishes.
Those are
So
great recommendation. I think it's a lot of like and that's what I love about Europe so much. I don't wanna blanket all of Europe. I will say, like, where we've traveled, a lot of Mediterranean countries, we've noticed, even France and things, just using what is available seasonally, which we are not great about here in the United States sometimes. Like, where
Mhm.
I'm in California, it's a little bit better, but that's what I love about Spain so much is that I feel like everything is very seasonal and it just takes all of that into account. So like the fried fish or one of these specific things that you're mentioning, like it's very of the summer, right? And, like, yes, it might be touristy, but if that's a good time to go and have those, then, you're gonna get some really good food. So, yeah, good things to keep in mind. I would love to talk a little bit to go outside of Spain a little bit because I know you mentioned when you're not sort of exploring Malaga and southern Spain that you also like going to other destinations. And I think I read somewhere,
Yeah.
especially the UK. So talk to me a little bit about that, either the UK or just anywhere else that you have been that's been really inspiring to you or that you've really enjoyed.
Yeah, so like divide my time between my hometown Malaga and UK because well, my fiance is from the UK,
Yeah, good
so we
reason.
kind of spend time in between.
Wow.
So this is why at the same time I'm kind of like very connected to the UK kind
Yeah.
of food and culture. Obviously, I don't know. There's lots of differences because I feel like I'm not saying there aren't typical foods in the UK, but I think the UK kind of is more like multicultural
Yes.
in the sense of food. Like if you go to any city, you'll find like all sorts of cuisine. So like
Yeah.
Thai, Indian, Chinese, Japanese. And I'm not saying you won't find those in Malaga. There are more, but people tend to go to kind of the Spanish places. Like Spanish
Right.
people normally go to the
Course.
the yeah the restaurants, the local restaurants,
Yeah.
or maybe like Italian food
Mhm.
because it's kind of a bit similar, so Mediterranean sort of
Yeah.
thing. Whereas in the UK, I feel like it's more, let's go and have a curry,
Yeah.
or let's go and grab some Thai food, or so it's like a different sort of mindset. But
Mhm.
then if you go, I don't know, let's say to the pub, then you can go and have like a Sunday roast,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
So, but it's like very kind of different. Yeah, it's a very different food culture at the same time. Like I said about eating on the go. In the UK, it's more like eating on the go. You'll see
Yeah.
people kind of, working on the desk. You'll see people eating a sandwich in the middle of the street. And normally, people in Spain, if it's like lunchtime, when you're working, you don't eat at your desk.
You sit and
Uh,
relax, like
you don't normally eat at your desk.
No,
Uh,
America's so
so,
bad about that too. We are very similar to the UK, not surprisingly, and just being so on the go or not taking a proper lunch break, like, ugh, yeah.
yeah.
We have a long way to go with that, but
But yeah, for example, like before, well, I was quite impressed that the first time I visited the UK, you know, that there's so much like, well, what they say, like Indian culture and
Yes.
cuisine.
Yeah.
Although if you probably, I've never been to India, but probably if you go to India, it'll taste different.
Yeah,
But
sure.
that's 100%. But for example, I hadn't tried Indian food before moving to the UK and studying in the UK.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like my introduction kind of to curries.
Wow.
And, because it's Spanish food, and I feel like well, I'm talking like about my family and friends. We're not used to like spicy.
I was gonna ask
So,
you about that. Yeah, because I didn't think Spanish food is, like, particular when I was there, I don't remember anything being spicy, but, like,
no.
if you're having a curry or, something there's different at least how it is in the US, there's different, like, levels of heat, if you will, and, like, they can get very spicy, like, depending.
Yeah, so it's like I've eaten out of curiosity because yeah, so out of curiosity, I've eaten in a Indian restaurant in Spain, and then obviously I've eaten in Indian restaurants in the UK,
Yeah.
and I can feel the level of spice is not the same. In Spain, it's very mild,
Yeah.
very very mild, whereas in the UK, it's like well, it gets spicier.
Yeah.
Um, and then also very surprised, like I love like Mexican food.
Yes.
But again, when I went to Mexico and I compared the Mexican food in the UK with the Mexican food in Mexico,
Yeah.
you could tell the level of spice.
Yes.
I can't remember which tacos I was having, but I was just like, I was crying because of the spice, and I was drinking water, and I was
Oh my
like, oh
god.
my God. So it's funny to see like all these like different, level of spices and, flavors and
Yeah.
ways of eating as well. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, and, like, how each culture, if they immigrate or moved, whatever, to a different country, what they carry with them or how they carry it, or if they are able to, like, source the ingredients that they would use in their home country to make it spicy or whatever. Yeah, yeah, I've experienced that too, and we have a lot of Mexican food here in California just being so close to Mexico, and, like,
Yeah.
'cause that was also very interesting tasting California Mexican, if you will, versus, like, Tex-Mex, which is from, like, Texas Mexican versus, Mexico Mexican food. It's like yeah, yeah. It's fun, though. I think that's what makes it so
Yeah.
dynamic and interesting, and I was curious too, outside of the UK, are there any other countries that you have visited that you really enjoyed, or, like, if someone is here listening that you would recommend? It sounds like you went to Mexico as well.
Yeah. So I went to Mexico, and then I've been to Portugal as well. Obviously, it's like kind of quite close
Very
to
close.
Spain.
Yeah.
And the food in Portugal is really good, and the pastel de nata, so the custard pastries, oh my God,
Oh,
those are amazing. Like if you go to Portugal, you need to have them.
yeah.
I'm actually planning to go back to Lisbon in May,
Oh,
and I'm like, I'm gonna sign up to one of those like workshops where you learn how to make
yeah.
them
Oh, I
because
love
it's
that.
so good.
Yeah, that's a great idea too, by the way, just of, like, cultural, like, activities to do, like, when you're in any
Yeah.
of these countries. Yeah, that's like I love cooking classes and things like that, and that sounds delicious. So, yeah, good call.
Yeah, I think like it's a really good way to kind of, take a little bit of that food culture at home. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
not gonna turn out the same way, but it's like, well, this reminds me of Portugal, this reminds me of Mexico, and
Yeah.
it's the way of travel through
Yeah, no, it
food.
is. It's so true.
Yeah,
Whenever John is like, because we have a pretty deep connection to Italy, and we just love it there so much and have been, but, like, anytime that he's really missing Italy, he makes pasta or makes a
yeah,
dish from one of the cooking classes that we did there. Because I could just he's just like, "I just wanna feel closer to it," and, like I'm like, "That works for me, I'll take some pasta, feel free to make it," but, yeah, I love that. I love the recipes and the things that we, like, take home with us too, and then incorporate into maybe not our daily life, but every once in a while, we, make something and it
yeah,
makes us feel closer. I love that.
yeah. And other places, well, I went to Bali for like
Oh,
2 weeks,
oh, that's incredible.
and it was really nice to try like the exotic fruits.
Yeah.
Something that I tried and really enjoyed was like this kind of black rice pudding.
Oh,
I don't, it was really nice, quite sweet, but
yeah.
I don't know, really, really nice dessert.
Yeah. I love that so much, and it's so I love trying, like, the regional or just, like what we've been talking about today, right? Like, the foods that are so ingrained in their culture, and then, like, again, if we can try and make it at home, which I don't even know how you would make that, like, black rice pudding or whatever at home, but to have that there in Bali, like, oh, that must have been such a cool experience.
It was eye-opening at the same time
I
because it was
bet.
like my first time in Asia, traveling in
Yeah.
Asia. So it's like it's so different. It's a different world
Yeah.
compared to like Europe.
Well, I was gonna as we kind of slowly start to wrap up, I was gonna ask you too to kind of just come back to the work that you do and as a travel expert and, offering travel services and everything. So obviously, your own travels and just it sounds like just living where you live and all of that has really inspired you. But can you just talk to us a little bit to kind of like take us back a little? I probably should have asked this first,
Yeah.
but how did you get into that and what inspired you? And then just so anyone here, listening, if they want to work with you or, ask you questions if they plan on going to southern Spain or even Malaga, like, what you offer there. But yeah, how did you get into this type of work?
Yeah, so at the beginning, I sort of started like writing about the places I travel, but then I don't know, I felt like I wanted to write about something that I could actually be like have the knowledge
Yeah.
and at the same time feel like I could be updated with the information because you might travel to Mexico and let's say you recommend like five restaurants and then they most of them close and
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like I want to give people like accurate and updated information
Mhm.
and at the same time I have the knowledge from my local perspective which
Yeah.
I provide. So this is the reason I feel like passionate about showing others like my hometown and southern Spain and not only like the must see like there
Yeah.
are obviously attractions I feel like obviously you have to go because
Yeah.
they they're really nice. Obviously, they're touristy, but again, they're touristy for a reason.
They're just something you
Um,
have to see and experience
yeah,
when you
exactly.
see it.
And then, but I also like to kind of, um, show the kind of hidden gems
I love
or,
that.
like these places that aren't as known, but they deserve to be mentioned
Yeah.
for certain reasons. So maybe, I don't know, I mentioned this village because I like the typical dish in there and I recommend a specific restaurant where you can have that dish.
Right.
And I don't know. Yeah, I might recommend another place because they have like an amazing street art route that you won't see it in other places, or a hike. So I feel like every kind of place has something.
Yeah.
There are places that are tiny, but there are reasons still to visit. So I like to talk about those places as well and just inspire people to, come to Malaga and the Costa del Sol, southern
Yeah.
Spain, and kind of immerse themselves in the culture, you
Mhm.
know, visit the attractions, try to interact with the locals, try the foods. And if you are there while there is like a festival, then even
Mhm.
better because you get to, experience a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people, like well, you find all sorts of people everywhere, but I feel like mostly all Spanish people are quite friendly and welcoming.
Mhm.
So, it's nice to connect and be open-minded and learn about the culture. And that's what I try to inspire others, like to have those like, also authentic experiences.
Yeah.
And while they are in Spain and maybe, you know, give them a little bit of the I don't know, a little taste of Malaga that
Yeah.
inspires them to come back later,
Yeah.
or explore other places, other cities because it's obviously I talk about Malaga because
You're there.
is where I'm from, but Sevilla is really nice, Cordoba,
Well,
there's all the cities that have amazing, historical buildings and natural parks as well.
yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, I just want to bring that inspiration, and I'm always like happy to help, others to discover a little bit more about, the culture and the place, from my perspective because I like, I like talking about the things that I've experienced myself,
Mhm.
so that people can have better experiences. Obviously at the same
Yeah.
time, like if you recommend a restaurant, it can be a little bit subjective at the same time. I
Of
might
course.
enjoy a meal at this restaurant and maybe you might go and then I don't know, the staff weren't very friendly and you have a completely different experience,
Yeah. Yeah.
which happens, right?
Mhm.
It's subjective, but I like to kind of give my local insight as much as I can.
I
So
love that.
yeah, it's just a summary of how I got into it, and that I'm passionate about doing this, and I've been doing this now for like over 5 years. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. No, and I love that you have this local perspective and just and passion for it, and, like, that comes through so clearly, and I love what you also said about really, like, kinda maybe focusing in a little bit on Malaga or, like, one place, 'cause you're totally right what you said earlier, it's like if you go to a different country and maybe you recommend a restaurant or something, and then it, like, doesn't exist in 3 years, and it's, so I just love that you have what in America, we have this, like, expression, like, boots on the ground, so, like, you're there, you know it, you can see what's happening, and so you're obviously such a great resource for people that are going to Malaga specifically, which I've been hearing that too, it's getting very busy and more tour or I'm hearing more and more people moving there, and I think just Spain in
Yeah.
general, like, I hear a lot around, like, the digital nomad visa and Spain being a big place for that, and I don't know your thoughts or feelings on that necessarily, but yeah, I hear a lot of people are going, but the Costa del Sol is so beautiful, I understand why people wanna go there.
Yeah, have you been to the Costa del Sol?
No, I want to so bad. It's high on our list. We will watch certain shows or we'll see it and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it looks so picturesque." Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you can come soon.
I know, me too. Well, like,
And you love
reaching
it.
out to you, you know that.
I would say I wouldn't go. I wouldn't visit Malaga in August,
Mhm. Probably so busy.
except if the only reason I would go is if you really want to experience the fair in
Yeah.
mid-August.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wouldn't go in August for various reasons. So one, it gets crowded, and
Yes.
a lot of like Spanish people take holidays in August. So it's
Mhm.
tourists
Mhm.
plus locals.
Sounds a lot like Italy. Yeah.
So it's overcrowded. It's
Yeah.
very crowded. At the same time, if anyone doesn't like the heat, don't go in
Very
August.
hot.
It's the
Yeah.
worst month.
Yeah.
It's very hot. It's like sometimes it can reach 40 Celsius
Oh
degrees.
my
I don't know Fahrenheit, sorry.
I can't translate that either, but I know 40 is hot. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is really hot.
Yeah.
So most of the it's not the best time for sightseeing at
Mhm.
all.
Mhm. Yeah.
Most people are like during like lunchtime and up to like 6, they might be having a siesta,
Yeah.
they might be at home with the aircon and watching
Right.
TV, or if not in the pool or the beach, like in the sea, because
Yeah.
it's so hot
It's
that you won't see people around it. You'll see people when it's like evening,
yeah.
sunset, people come
Everyone
out,
comes
have
out.
food out, kids, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone is out. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend August for sightseeing at all. But if you
Yeah.
want to experience the festival, the Malaga Fair,
That's where you
then
might
that's
go.
the time to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, those I hope that's kind of help a little bit. I think I've
Yes.
expanded too much, but
No, oh my god, that was so helpful. A couple of them I've, like, heard of, but I think maybe even, like, not just specific to Malaga, like, I've heard them in other cultures
yeah,
and things as well, but I just love, again, how each little town or village or city or whatever, region does it differently, so I it's just add it to the list of things to experience, which is so fun. Christina, this was such a great conversation. I feel like I could go to Southern Spain and be so prepared now. So I just really appreciate
so happy.
yeah, truly, like, I really appreciate your expertise, your perspective as a local, like, all of the recommendations and things to keep in mind that you gave us today. So, thank you so much. And lastly, where can people find you? So, like, on social media or if they want to work with you or get your recommendation even more recommendations from you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so my main platform is my website, so My Little World of Traveling, and then I'm also on Instagram, so it's at My Little World of Traveling as well. And you can, well, on my website you can find my email if you want to email me. You can also find the link to my Facebook group if you want to join for recommendations.
Right.
So I'm always happy to help others. I also offer itinerary services, so if anyone you can find lots of information on my website, but if you
Mhm.
want more like detailed advice,
Personalized
uh,
help.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, personalized itinerary, then you can book a call, and then we'll go like through the things you like to do, and what type of restaurants, or if you go like any
Right.
dietary requirements, because I'll go like I had a client that, for example, needed to eat gluten free, so
Yeah.
obviously recommended gluten free restaurants. So it's quite detailed and customized.
Yeah.
But if you're happy, if you're happy like with just looking through the website, there's lots of information. Like there's plenty of there. But if you want something more customized, then um, you can book a call, and then
Thank you.
always, happy to help others. And um I just want people to have, the best time in Malaga and in southern Spain. That's like
Yeah.
my main goal. So
Yeah. I mean, how could you not? It's beautiful. So you can't go wrong. But you gave us some good things to keep in mind of maybe to avoid or just things to keep in mind. So I
yeah,
really appreciate that because those are the little bits of information and things that are good. Especially if you've never been to a place, it's so easy to fall into some of these traps or tourist traps or whatever, or miss some of the local foods that are really worth trying or something. So
yeah.
yeah, I really appreciate just all of your insight and, like I said, expertise and recommendations and everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and for anyone that's listening.